You finally have enough money to buy a Lamborghini, $190,000. But that's just the price of the car. Insurance, tires, fuel, maintenance, and one repair bill, that can cost more than a brand new Toyota. So here's the real question. If you bought a used Lamborghini Huracan today, drove it 5,000 miles a year, and sold it 5 years from now, how much money would you actually lose? Because the answer is nowhere near $190,000. Day 1. The purchase. Let's start with the car itself. A used Lamborghini Huracán LP 610-4. The original Huracan, powered by a naturally aspirated 5.2-liter V10. Today, a good example sells for around $190,000. And here's the first thing most people get wrong. That $190,000 is not really a cost, it's capital. You didn't simply spend the money, you converted it. It's now sitting in your garage, in the shape of a Lamborghini, and most of that money is still there, waiting to be turned back into cash when you eventually sell the car. That's the mistake people make when they think about supercar ownership. They treat the purchase price as if the money simply disappears. It doesn't. The real cost is everything that happens between the day you buy the car and the day you sell it. So for now, put that $190,000 aside. It's not gone. And let's start counting. Only the money that truly disappears. Insurance. The first real expense comes before you've driven a single mile. Insurance. And this number varies more than almost anything else on this list, because it depends entirely on who you are. A 45-year-old driver with a clean record and a garage in a quiet suburb might pay around $1,000 a year. A younger driver in a major city or someone with previous claims could be quoted $7,000 for the exact same car. For our experiment, we'll use a reasonable middle figure, around $3,000 a year. Over 5 years, that's $15,000. Gone. Not recoverable, not an asset, simply the price of keeping your Lamborghini insured and on the road. And remember, we haven't even turned the key yet. Running total, money actually spent, $15,000. Fuel, now we drive. The Huracan's V10 is one of the greatest engines ever put in a road car, and it drinks accordingly, around 14 miles per gallon in real-world driving, and only premium fuel. At 5,000 miles a year, that's 25,000 miles over our 5-year experiment. Do the math, and you're looking at roughly $9,000 in fuel. But here's the interesting part. That's actually less than the insurance. The expense everyone imagines when they think about owning a supercar, that massive, gas-guzzling V10, turns out to be one of the smaller numbers on this list. Partly because we're only driving 5,000 miles a year, which is how many supercars are actually used, not as daily commuters, but as weekend cars. So after 5 years of fuel, our running total is now $24,000. Tires. Supercar tires are not normal tires. They're made from softer compounds, designed to provide enormous amounts of grip, and softer rubber means faster wear. A full set for the Huracan costs around $1,750, over 25,000 miles. Depending on how hard you drive, you'll likely go through around 2 sets. That's another $3,500. And this is the first expense that depends heavily on how you actually use the car. Drive carefully, and your tires could last considerably longer. Drive the Huracan the way it was designed to be driven, and you'll be buying rubber much more often. For our 25,000 miles of sensible use, 2 sets is a reasonable estimate. Running total, $27,500. Maintenance. Now we get to the part everyone fears, servicing a Lamborghini. And the reality is actually more reasonable than the reputation. A typical annual service, oil, filters, fluids, and inspections, costs around $1,500. Over 5 years, that's roughly $7,500. But somewhere during those 5 years, you'll also need a larger scheduled service, spark plugs, transmission fluid, and a much deeper inspection of the car. That can add around $4,000. So over 5 years, scheduled maintenance comes to roughly $11,500. Expensive compared to a normal car? Absolutely. But there's an important difference. This is routine, predictable, and something you can plan for. Nothing here is a surprise. It's simply the cost of keeping a precision machine running the way it was designed to run. And after 5 years, our running total of money actually spent is now around $39,000. Depreciation, the reveal. Now we get to the number that, on almost any other car, would be the biggest expense of all. On a brand new supercar, it can be brutal. A new Huracan can lose tens of thousands of dollars in its first few years alone. But we didn't buy new. We bought used for $190,000. And that changes everything, because the steepest part of the depreciation curve already happened to the person who bought the car first. And this is where the Huracan becomes interesting. It holds its value remarkably well. The LP610-4 belongs to the naturally aspirated V10 era, an engine configuration that has now disappeared from new Lamborghinis. And that makes these cars increasingly desirable. Now, this next number is a projection, not a fact. Nobody knows exactly what this car will be worth 5 years from now. But based on how these cars have held their value, a reasonable estimate after another 5 years and 25,000 miles is around $167,000, which means, of the $190,000 we originally converted into the car, we only lost around $22,000. Think about that. 5 years of owning a Lamborghini, and the depreciation is roughly comparable to what we spent on insurance and fuel combined. On most cars, depreciation is the silent killer. On a used Huracan, it might be one of the biggest reasons the economics actually work. So let's put everything together, properly this time, not the purchase price, plus everything we spent. That's the wrong equation. Because remember, the car is still worth something. The real question is, what did we pay, plus what did we spend owning it, minus what did we recover when we sold it? We bought the Huracan for $190,000. Over 5 years we spent around $39,000 on insurance, fuel, tires, and scheduled maintenance. Then, at the end of those 5 years, we sell the car for our estimated value of $167,000, which means the true cost of owning this Lamborghini for 5 years was around $61,500. Break that down, and the number becomes almost absurd, around $12,300 a year, just over $1,000 a month, and approximately $2.46 for every mile you drove. That's the real cost of owning our Lamborghini Huracan, not $190,000, around $1,000 a month, less than the monthly payment on many ordinary new cars that could lose far more of their value during the exact same 5 years. One bad day. But there's a catch, and it's important to be honest about it. Everything we just calculated assumes nothing goes seriously wrong. And with a supercar, when something does go wrong, the numbers can change very quickly. If the dual-clutch transmission needs major work, the bill can reach $6,000 or more. And then, there are the carbon ceramic brakes. The same brakes that give the Huracan its incredible stopping power can cost between $15,000 and $25,000 for a complete replacement. One unexpected repair like that, outside of warranty, can erase years of otherwise predictable ownership cost in a single afternoon. And this is the real financial risk of owning a supercar. It isn't the fuel, it isn't the tires, and it isn't even the insurance. Those expenses are predictable. You can budget for them. The real danger is the low probability, high-cost failure, the bill you never planned for, the one bad day. So here's what the numbers actually reveal. A Lamborghini Huracan is incredibly expensive to buy, but surprisingly, it isn't incredibly expensive to own. The biggest barrier was never the fuel, the tires, the insurance, or even the maintenance. It was having $190,000 available in the first place, because that money isn't disappearing. It's sitting there, locked inside an asset, wearing the shape of a Lamborghini. And that's the real economic barrier to supercar ownership. Not necessarily the money you spend, but the money you can afford to tie up. And that leads to a strange conclusion. The hardest part of owning a Lamborghini isn't paying to maintain one. It's being wealthy enough that $190,000 can sit in your garage, and you don't need that money for anything else.